Welcome to Stereo3D Plays, everyone. This video has been a long time coming. 7 years to be precise. If you arrived here through Stereo3DProductions, and you've been watching for longer than that, longer than 7 years, you may even recognize the aesthetic of this title screen. And this may be because I was a big fan of this game's predecessor, Albino Lullaby. So I first played Albino Lullaby on my Oculus Rift DK2 in 2015. This was before the commercial launch of VR. The game had seated VR support, so mouse and keyboard or gamepad only. This was very common in 2015. In fact, during the development days of VR, motion controls were not really on the radar yet, other than in experimental form. And so I did first impressions on Albino Lullaby and I liked it so much that I kept coming back to the game every now and then, up until the point where I finished it in 2017. I think it was either on the Vive or the Rift, but I kept alternating headsets when I would revisit the game. And this was announced to be an episodic release, so once I had finished the first episode, I waited. And I waited. And I waited. And until about 5 years in, I kind of gave up hope that this would ever happen. This was an indie project. We didn't know if they'd be able to keep the train going, if they had enough steam in them. But it turns out that this year they completely blindsided me and released episode 2, Alice's Lullaby. And I am going to be playing it in VR, just like I did with the original. Except there's a catch. The developers this time around decided not to implement any form of native VR support. And so the catch is I'm going to have to play through it using UEVR Injector. Now, before I go ahead and show you how I'm set up with UEVR Injector, show you what options to change, I want to make a plea to the developers that, you know, I don't know if this is because they were limited on resources to make a full room scale adaptation with the motion controllers, or if they just didn't want to focus on VR at all this time around. I'll tell you what, I would accept as little as just the seated VR support that existed in episode 1. I would be happy with that. I can work with that end to end and finish the whole game. And if you're worried about review scores, what you can do is you just don't list your game on Steam as VR supported, and you include somewhere in the description that you support VR in an experimental level in a seated mode. That might actually work out for you guys, because just from loading in this title screen, I get a sensation of seamless continuity. I started the first game in a headset. I was welcomed in that great title screen with these weird crayon drawn textures, and I'm getting the same thing here, but it feels like it's been elevated. It feels like you guys got better at your game, and this is something that should be experienced in VR. I should be able to continue the adventure the way I enjoyed it originally. So this being a UEVR Injector adaptation, the first thing you want to do is get yourselves a copy of UEVR Injector. There's going to be a link in the description. Go ahead and go to the releases page from that link and get the latest release of UEVR Injector. Download the archive and remember to extract it in a folder that you're going to be familiar with, because this is where your copy of UEVR Injector will live. That's right, this is not an installer, it's rather a copy of the application itself and directly in a folder. To run UEVR Injector, you just launch the file uevrinjector.exe. However, I recommend an extra step. Right-click on uevrinjector.exe, go down to Properties. In the Properties, go to the Compatibility tab and check the option to run this program as administrator, and then hit OK. The next time you launch UEVR Injector, it's going to prompt you for administrator permissions, and then the administrator mode warning will be gone. This is to prevent possible permission conflicts. They're very rare, and this step is just to take care of that. Most of the time, you do not actually have to do this. Now, the next step is to inject into the game, but we have another thing to take care of. This game currently comes with an OpenXR plugin in it. Why? I don't know. I guess it's because they used a template to make their game. So what you want to do here is you want to go in the games folder. So I'm going to show you how to do that on Steam. You right click on the game, you go to manage, and then you go browse local files. And that opens the root. And then on the screen, you'll see the folder that I navigate to find that OpenXR plugin. And I'm actually going to go ahead and delete the folder itself. Now, don't worry. When you do that, you can actually restore this file by doing verify game files in Steam, and it actually won't even affect the game's functionality at all. You can still run this game normally in 2D. There won't be any problems there. So the deletion didn't actually affect the game. The only thing it does, it prevents a conflict when we're about to inject with UEVR Injector. The next step in this process you should be familiar with if you are familiar with UEVR Injector at all. It's time to inject into the game. So go ahead and launch Alice's Lullaby. And by the way, you don't have to go through the desktop in any way, shape, or form. You can go straight to VR with this game. That's what I did myself. So just wait for the studio logos to play out. And when you're at the screen where it asks you to adjust your brightness, or at the title screen if you've ever run the game before, then go ahead and locate the Alice's Lullaby process in the drop down. If I'm not mistaken, it's actually called Albino Lullaby. So you pick that and then you hit inject. We don't need to import any special profile. We don't need to do anything unique. We just hit inject and we're in the game. And you'll be greeted to this beautiful title screen. And already there is one thing wrong. I can see that the UI is a bit crooked, and we're going to take care of that right now. I'm going to open the UEVR Injector menu by using my insert key, and I'm going to go to camera, and under decoupled pitch, if this is collapsed, just open it. Make sure to hit enabled here. Oh, what a relief. Oh, that was actually a little rough of an opening to have the camera tilted like that. And now you will be straight and level at all times, just like an airplane. And what you do if you want to look up or down is you move your damn head. But the game will never force your vertical rotation at this point. So this is going to be a lot more comfortable. If you omit the step, you will get motion sickness. I actually thought this was super weird. I actually forgot to enable decoupled camera pitch when I started out here, and it was not good. It's very disorientating. Like, I thought the fish were disappearing while I was swimming around them because I kept losing my orientation completely. And right now it's a completely different experience. I wasn't able to do what I'm doing right now, like follow a fish smoothly like this. This is very cool. Now you see this spike? This is a reference point. I'll speak about that later. In the game, we will have to do a couple of things before we get going. And now they teleport you into a goddamn fish tank. Game is running beautifully, by the way. It's, for the opening scenes, one of the best running I've seen with UEVR Injector. However, later on when I got into their bigger areas, it started running at half rate and shit, which is fine. Half rate is okay. Oh, here we go. I'm getting out of the way for this. I already saw this shit. This is pretty fucked up. Watch this, watch this, watch this. Like, what the actual shit, man? I'm just gonna go ahead and take cover in this safe little corner. This perfectly not dangerous angle and watch my buddies die. But yeah, these guys seem to have really fucked up activities going on. I do not know why we experienced this as the opening. I guess we'll find out later. This is so weird. It's awfully comfortable, I have to say. Fucking assholes are laughing at us. I didn't even notice that the first time around. I remember this voice from the first game. Like, during the falling scene, there's a moment where it's almost like you're listening to a radio channel. Whoa. Oh, that's what I call a title. That's what I call an opening. That was good. This is just what I expected from this. A very strange experience.
I know the pages are obscured and torn out, there in the right order. But you can use your imagination.
I need to repeat that I've done 15 minutes of this, and I've seen this already. I'm still getting first impression vibes here. This is... Whoa. I haven't noticed that.
Light,
Hi, Alice.
daughter. Let me look at you.
I have to go see this fucking guy. Oh, we are saving.
Ah, beauty. Surely you're not going to bed without cleaning up your mess in the bathroom. Now go and clean up your papers, child.
By the way, I checked out something when I started off here. I was like, wait a minute, I'm a seated height. So it's actually physically taking on my height, but no. This is because Alice, hi Alice, is really tiny. She is not very tall. And so it is normal for you to be down low here. If you are trying to play standing with motion controls, you'll probably have the sensation of the floor going through your waist over here or something. Of course, what you can do is start off seated and then just stand up, and you'll be at a standing height. But I don't recommend that. I think it's more immersive to experience it from the perspective of Alice. If you recall earlier in this video, while I was the fish, there was a spike, and I mentioned that that spike made a reference point. I have no reference point right now. Alice's body is not moving with my camera pitch. I can't even use Alice's arms or anything. There's absolutely no notion of where my camera is actually pointing in game right now in terms of aiming. And so I'll show you what I tried as a solution. The first thing I thought is, oh, decoupled's not going to work out. I'm going to have to go and use facegun. So I open my UEVR Injector menu by hitting the insert key, and then I go to input. I don't even need the advanced options for this. All I do is I switch the aim method from game to head HMD. And there we go. I should be good now to play facegun, except look at this. So now I'll show you the difference is when I go up to an object I can interact with and stare at it, the prompt comes up, right? And that's all fine and dandy. But now the problem is when I rotate my head side to side, there is a position shift. That's not good. That's not the way you want to be playing. This will give me motion sickness. And I've tried a few of the options in the menu, but I was not able to get rid of the problem. So what I'm going to do now is I figured, well, let's try something else. Let's go to camera and let's enable the advanced option, actually go to UObject hook main, okay? Right here. And then I go to the common objects and I open the acknowledged pawn, which is usually the controller object for the game. And I'm like, okay, attach the camera directly to the pawn, which I just did right now. Except now my camera is practically on the ground. I have to apply an offset to the damn camera, so I'm not like on the ground. So I'm gonna put like an offset that feels more like I'm standing right now at 64. And let's close this menu right now. And oh, look at that. Now I have facegun and I have normal rotation. And if I go up to an object I can interact with, I can look at it. But now, new problem. This is a problem. I have a body model going through me. And ultimately, I would probably want to play like this. What I just did right now is identical to the original game's VR support. You look in a direction, you press the prompt, and it does the action. That's the way you want to go. Except, well, the character keeps coming in view, and this feels fucking awkward. So now something I would do to address this issue is I would actually open the UEVR Injector menu, and then through UEObject hook, I would go through either recent objects or all the fucking objects by class, and I would try to find the character model and disable it. However, I've never done that with UEVR Injector, and I cannot be asked to do that at the moment. I really want to play this game, And I felt like the decoupled pitch was sufficient. I kind of found a temporary solution. I'm going to go back to my UEVR Injector menu. I'm going to detach the camera from what I attached it to. There's a reason why I want to do this. So I'm going to go back to runtime, set standing origin, so I'm at the correct height. Go back to camera, to input, sorry, and then put a method on game. And we're going to go back for the decoupled. So if you want decoupled to work, you need a reference, and I will give myself one that I kind of need right now anyway. I just realized, I was like, oh, I'm going to turn on the FPS indicator, and then I realized, oh yeah, the FPS indicator is what I use as a reference when I don't have anything showing on the character. So here's what I did when I did my original test. I played in decoupled pitch, and I used the FPS meter to know where the hell my camera is looking. So you'll see the prompt E come up when my FPS meter is right above that note. So that's how I played the intro of the game. It actually went really well. So I'm going to go like that. And later on, once we load into the official part of the game, I'll also show you another control method that will ultimately, hopefully, lead to room scale controls.
Alice.
Ah, there we go.
Forgive me. I am so sorry, my love. But you must speak to me. When will you speak to your father again?
Uh-oh. Holy shit.
Visiting time is over, my honey sweet. Now, promptly sit in your chair so you don't get us in trouble again.
Oh my fuck. This is a pretty good scene. This is at the beginning while I was doing the test. Looking at the frame rate, I was like, hey, this is probably going to run really well across the board. Now, I turned off ASW to make sure I would see the actual frame rate I'm getting instead of just dropping to half rate. But again, using this frame rate meter to have the prompts appear is really useful.
You've been so good. I'll let you tighten the straps yourself.
Can I do it? I don't think I can do it.
Just one for tonight. Go on. I'll watch.
Now that didn't work. I'm
What is it? What is wrong with you?
This also happened in my test, by the way.
Why can't you carry out one simple task? Why do you force me to act this way, Alice? Why must you make me hurt you?
hurt you? What the fuck is going on in this game?
You are your mother's daughter.
By the way, something cool about the game mode for camera aim is the camera's slightly ahead of the character, so your head will almost never go through them. Unless you do this.
They're watching. They are watching.
Oh, they're gone. There are 3 individuals up there. They're in the green door, but they're gone. Whoa. I just spoke of these mechanisms. This is so cool, man. Love the style. They kept this up, and they...
I love you, Alice.
The lighting is better than in the first game, I find. It's actually a bit more ambitious. Lots of love in this thing, man. Lots of heart in this little game. Just like the original. Welcome home, child. I know that fucking sign. Oh god, this is so weird. Well, now what? Oh, oh, sounds, oh, ooh. There's just... I swear you'll start this game and you'll be like, oh, this might not be that much. It'll be a cute little horror game. And then it just keeps pulling surprises on you. There is one unfortunate thing for VR, by the way. If you guys ever do a VR adaptation, I can see the particles billboarding when I move my head. You'd have to make them billboard horizontally towards the position of the player, but not following the camera's rotation. I've had to deal with that before with Unity. I don't know with Unreal how it works, but I'm gonna change the way you... Oh my god, this is so cool. Been through all this. Oh shit! Almost reaching the point. Oh my god, holy fucking Jesus Christ. Reaching the point where I left off because I was like, okay, I gotta stop. This is working great. I'll want to do this on video. It's a first impressions. Kind of spoiling it. So I stopped. Wow, what a fucking beauty. Jump down. Okay. Yo, what the hell happened to Alice? Holy shit. And also, why am I not holding this thing? Well, that would have been a nice detail. I guess they're just reflecting, yeah, they're reflecting the character as they are, and the character doesn't happen to be holding it physically, so it's still a nice detail. This is pretty cool. And by the way, the mirror is not stereoscopic. If you're watching in 3D, you're gonna notice it's a flat texture. Probably for the better. This would probably tank the game, knowing this is Unreal Engine. Speaking of Unreal Engine, let's get back to UEVR Injector, because you've already seen me try the solution to switch the aim method to head/HMD oriented in order to make the interactions easier so that they would always be centered to where I'm looking at, except you also saw the two problems that induces. First, you have the character going through you in a lot of cases, and also when you rotate your head side to side, it shifts the position of the camera over left and right, which will guaranteed be very hardcore and induce motion sickness, something we just don't want. So the other thing I wanted to try, I actually gave this a shot, is I open the UEVR Injector menu, I go to Input, and I change the aim method to right controller. And then I go ahead and close this, and I'm going to grab my controllers, and I'm going to move the right controller and the left controller stick. So now I take the game over with my controllers, and at this point, my right hand dictates where I aim and move. So this is like decoupled movement, fully decoupled movement. This is actually pretty cool. I don't have a rotational issue, except, this is the new problem. Now when my right hand rotates, it shifts the camera position. Again, the solution is the same. I just have to attach the camera to the pawn and then raise it. Except if I want to do that, I'll want to also disable the character model. And you saw earlier, I don't want to do that today. I don't want to search through a fucking list. I'll do it later. I'm very, very happy playing seated. But here's the thing that's cool is I can actually go up to objects. If I've done this properly, this is going to help a lot. I can actually go up to a note and just go ahead and hit X and hit X again. So there is a hope for motion controls. What I'd have to do to make this fully motion control enabled is attach this thing to my right hand, which I don't know how to do yet. I've already attached objects. I kind of have an idea, but again, this involves searching through that damn list, finding what object to attach, attaching it, seeing if that works, getting rid of this rotation. So there's gonna be a few steps, and I will take care of that at a later date. But for now, I'm going back to decoupled aim because it's working fine. And I believe that I can remove the frame rate meter given I have this thing in my hands now. I finally have a reference. Oh, the prompt doesn't work. But the fucking thing works still. Okay. So I don't know what happened here. I had to restart the game because the jump, somehow through all these tests, I'd fucked up the character model to the point where the jump would actually have no up animation. It would start from full height and drop down. I don't know what happened there. And for a little while, my jump was locked. So I don't think the game likes someone messing around in the UEVR Injector menu like that. And now that I restarted the game, my frame rate meter is on the top right. I even checked with the menu to make sure, and the menu's in the correct location. My UI is not offset. I made sure to set standing origin, which has set me correctly, recenter view. So this is where it belongs now. I don't know why it was in the top middle earlier. It kind of fucks up my reference, but the good thing is now I have this guy for a reference, so I don't have to worry about this too much. I can actually carry on with the game, so I got myself a charge at the station. Wow. Man, I look at these crazy-ass, eclectic, crayon-drawn textures, and I gotta admit to the devs, when I started playing the first game while I was going through the intro, looking at these fucking weird scales and shapes and these crayon-drawn textures, and it was like, this is either gonna be an insane masterpiece or a fucking piece of shovelware, and I can't tell which. I'm sorry for saying it that way. I don't mean any disrespect. It was just so weird. And then, of course, the further I went in, the further I realized it was the former. It was an insane masterpiece rather than a piece of shovelware. It was to be taken seriously. This thing, if you underestimate this thing, it will take you by surprise, I gotta tell you. I'm just gonna open this lock. There we go. There's my prompt. So now I can see my prompts. I have a reference. I would not need the frame rate meter. The frame rate meter as a reference is only for that intro where you're Alice and you have nothing in your hands. Wow. Nope, can't open it. It's locked. Alright. That is some impressive shit. Who are you talking to? I don't hear anyone answering back. So, we're gonna go check it out for real. Of course you make me do this. Of course, it's gonna be out of charge, is it? Oh, was I able to do a 2-for-1 there? I think I was able to do a 2-for-1. Just run with it while it's on and shock the second one. But yeah, it's now out of charge. I have to do this. Unlock this lock. And then, if I remember correctly, when I walked out here, this happens. You're like, oh, I'm gonna... Oh, great, and there's another one that's broken down there. And this is where I started adjusting the graphics settings. Wow, the ghosts. They look so cool. The frame rate, they're spookier than these ghosts, though. We're dropping to the 70s, and then the 45s, then the 80s, then the... It's going schizo over here. I think there's just too much on the screen for this to be handled at the resolution I'm running at in VR, which is 2272 by 2464 per eye. It's quite high. I could bring this down. I don't want to, because I'll be honest with you, asynchronous time warp is already doing a great job. I don't even have asynchronous space warp, and this does not feel uncomfortable if I move my head. You can see the dropping frames when you move whatever objects or do artificial side-to-side rotation in the game. Then you will notice that the game's dropping frames. When you move your head, it's nice and smooth. It's just like butter. The most important one to lower, by the way, was the anti-aliasing, because it just looks awful when it's on max. And basically, for me, everything started off on max. So the anti-aliasing quality looks best on medium. You can put it on low if you want to turn it off. And the rest you can see, I didn't make much compromise, because I was like, the game's going to drop frames anyway. I had these two on low, and I was still getting frame drops in some areas. So I'm like, you know what? If I'm going to get frame drops in some areas, then just fucking... I'm gonna live with it. If I didn't have this meter, I could actually be misled to think that the game's still running at full rate. I remember seeing those guys during the fall, which I think I'm somewhere in that hole right now from the first game that we last fell into. So this is back to this weird city navigating. Wow, there's voices coming from everywhere. This is crazy. Super schizo game again. Be kind to the children. My God, this is so cool.
You got out. You got out. See what you can find out.
Bro. Stop, I need to concentrate. Are you telling me to get out? Are you happy that I'm here? I'm getting mixed signals. I have always thought that there was big overhead with UEVR Injector up until recently, when I realized I could run some of these games in 2D and just check out the frame rate they yield, and I did that with Borderlands 3. And I kind of realized the frame rate it runs at in 2D is very representative of the frame rate it runs at in VR. It makes sense. The math works out. The UEVR Injector may only have a 5% overhead, maybe even less than that. The overhead here is the fact that we're playing games that were not designed to run in VR at resolutions which I'm running right now. This crazy ass 4544 by 2464. This is higher than 4K. This is actually roughly 3K per eye for the Quest 3, which means you're running at 6K stereo, 2 cameras. It's pretty intense. And so I think that's where our issue is coming from. All these games we run that have a lot of detail, they're not necessarily designed for stereoscopic operation or being forced to run in stereo. Hey, the game's properly optimized. When I went indoors, the frame rate dropped to 90. Well, raised to 90. I mean, the frame time dropped to 10. So if I try to look outside right now, 90, 90, 90, 90, and 45, and 90. And then 45 and 90. Jesus. I want to explore in there, but bro, I'm not leaving a whole town aside without doing. Okay. Let's just. What the fuck? How big is this place? Okay, I think I have to go see Piotr. This is I'm getting goosebumps, man! Please don't see me. I just want to keep exploring without you seeing me. That was an enemy right there. Wow! Holy fuck balls! What the fuck? Oh, there's some... Wait, but... So these guys will probably chase me if they see me. I'm almost sure they will chase me if they see me. I don't really mind taking that risk right now. Because I want to see these guys. Are you guys nice? Wait! Did it run away? It ran away! Okay, well, these guys are not a threat yet. And the other guys are running away. What the hell, man? The illustrious Pogo's house. Report all sightings. What the hell? This town is bigger than the original one, I could swear. There is so much shit here. Oh my fuck. The enemies don't run away. Oh, there's gonna be one here. There's gonna be one here. Screens, man. Epilepsy warning, honestly. If you actually have epilepsy, this may be a problem. That's gonna give me epilepsy, Jesus Christ. There's... Okay, yeah, that first area was up here. And then to the left. To my right, actually, coming down, right here. Oh, yeah, it's a lot better when the jump is working correctly. Earlier, I thought the game's jump was broken. Then I reload the game completely. I'm like, oh no, UEVR broke the game. Okay, there was one here? What? Oh, it's all connected. So I guess they want me to come here. I'm so happy to be playing this in VR. This is so incredible. Hey, bitch! Where the fuck you go? I fucking saw him walking across that way. You scared? Scared of me, you piece of shit? Where'd you go? That's right, bitch! Scared the shit out of him! So it's not like the first episode where you automatically get hunted by these guys. Hey! You need to fucking know! Oh, there we go. That's the first time I have trouble picking up a note. Oh, I have to see 3 worms. They call them worms. I didn't know that. Okay, cool. Cool. Oh, wow. So right now they're kind of forcing me to just go in people's homes and get spotted, is what they wanted me to do. Hey, bitch. Did you miss me? Wait. Wait, what? He's not running. This dumbass is not running. Did you not see me? But I was freaking out. Oh, no. Okay, so there's things to unlock here. Are they out or something? Okay, we have our sighting. We have a sighting. Let's try to go to the gate. I don't think I can do much right now. I don't think I can do much right now. Oh yeah, they're everywhere now. Oh, fuck, what the fuck happened there? Did the game crash? Is the game loading? Oh yeah, the game's loading. Whew, I thought the game crashed there. What? Whoa! Whoa! Holy change of scenery, Batman! Holy fucking shit! Oh, this is gonna be so cool! I don't see why so many people don't get immersion from playing seated. The fact that you're wrapped in this game world, this is why I would never play this game on the desktop. It doesn't have the same effect. The effect that you want from this game is to be wrapped into it for the eclectic, crazy textures that you get, those crayon-drawn textures, that insane world scale that's all uneven all over the place in an intentional way is something you have to be surrounded by. You need the geometry. You need the depth perception. This is not something that will convey the same emotion through the desktop. What is going on here? That degree of what the fuck? That degree of separation between you and the monitor does not exist in VR. And that's what makes it amazing to experience. Get to the green orb. Are we gonna do that today? I don't know. We'll try. Oh, what is this? What are these? They are you guys rock. You guys fucking rock. Why is this so much cooler than you think it would turn out to be? They're 2D cutouts of fucking hand-drawn, crayon-drawn flies. Bro, I love these games so far. I love your art style. I want to play your games. I very much enjoyed the first one, and this is going to be another great adventure. Wow. You're gone. Well, bitch, I'm back. All right? I'm back. We are so back for another entire game that this is going to be great. Why buzz? What's this do? Fuck you. Wait a minute. This looks familiar. Can I pass? Okay. What's crouch? X, C, Z. Control? Oh, it's control. Let me see something, actually. Maybe I did this earlier. Yeah! Oh, I'm so stupid. I restarted the game for nothing earlier. Hey. Floor notes are a little harder to get. I'm sorry that I skipped through the notes, by the way, in this. This is just a gameplay first impressions. I don't want to spoil too much, for one, and for two, I want this to be consistent gameplay because this is really about the VR support and the way it operates, more than, you know, feeling like you're going through a Let's Play or something. I'm not saying that I'm not going to continue a series and show you the gameplay, but I will continue skipping through the notes. I want to see something. Can I pick this up? Okay, no. Let's just fucking grab the orb, which I was supposed to get to. Okay. I got to the orb. Whoa, what? Almost got scared by my own shadow there, by the way. Cutscene. Okay. Saving. Wow. Bro, so far. Oh, what? So far, this works. Why is everything changed outside? Does my room move with... This is so... I don't believe how cool this is. I do not believe how cool this is. Wow, is Alice ever so short? This has been absolutely incredible. I reiterate my plea. And by the way, I saw one of the devs that I know from the original game request that someone do a VR-centric video of their game using whatever method they could, and maybe they'd think about it. Well, here you go, guys. Your game is 80% of the time running at full rate with no space warp and no time warp. This is exemplary for a UEVR Injector title because this is the thing we contend with the most when using this wonderful tool, is that UE 4 and 5 games are really demanding, and so asking them to run a native stereo at full frame rate at 3K per eye is a tall ask. The seated adaptation is so satisfactory, by the way, that if it becomes the only option to play, that all the other configurations are a bust, I do not mind playing this way. Again, to the devs, I would not mind a seated only adaptation in the game itself. That's how I would play it end to end if it has to be, because this is meant to be experienced in VR and no other way. I shit you not, if you play this on the desktop, you're spoiling it for yourselves completely. I thank you for watching all the way through on Stereo3D Plays. That's all I got for you tonight. One more thing, actually, I do want to thank the developers for making this, for actually pulling through. I did not expect it anymore, and you guys really pulled through, and like I see, it's made with the same amount of heart as the first one, and I'm really glad to be playing it in VR with whatever means I have possible, and I do hope you consider doing the official VR version. That's it for me. I'll see you next time.